Welcome to Co-op Mode. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. This is episode 79. Oh my goodness. And we are talking about the previews and predictions of 2022. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by my fellow co-host, Mark the Canadian Carabin. How you doing, bud?
I am fantastic. 2 days in a row podcasting with my man, Todd. What can be better?
He still likes me, folks. That's impressive.
It was close when people. So this will drop before Secret Friends Unite.
It will.
Right?
It will.
So people will hear me. I have to pretend that I'm cheery and I don't hate your Star Wars shit takes. So when people are listening to this, then they can wait until Friday and they can hear why we almost got in a fist fight over Star Wars. But for right now, hey, we're buddy. And the order's weird and out of sync. It's like Bruno's vision in Encanto.
Ciao, Bruno. Which I thought was funny because in Luca, ciao, Bruno, and then Bruno and Encanto. It's like, it's the year Bruno.
Someone at Disney Pixar had, between ciao and we don't talk about, it's just like, sorry, Bruno, someone's got it out for you.
Man, it's bad. But you know what? Who we want to talk about this episode, and it's a new person that's joining the Co-op Couch, and that is Mr. Matt Sowinski, a.k.a. the host of Burn Operator and co-host of the PlayStation Drive. Matt, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm so stoked to be here. Todd, I already feel like I know you a little bit. I love how much you write into the PlayStation Drive, and I keep hearing your name, and it makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, so I'm excited to be here and rock with you guys. I'm ready. Predictions are my favorite. We're going to have a great time. Thank you for having me.
This is awesome.
Very exciting. And I told Matt that this is slowly, once again, the domination of Canada on this podcast. Yeah. I'm accepting the new founders of the world order in podcasting.
I said it before, we've burned the White House down before. We will do it again. Don't start with us. We're passive until we're not.
Listen, I'm surprised none of the satellites have picked up our secret moose armor factories. So just don't mess with us. We will do something about it. We will apologize, but don't make us upset. We have Timbit trebuchets ready to go.
I'm practically in Lower Canada as we speak, so I'm perfectly fine. It's the frozen tundra, and I'm ready to go this episode. But we are going to start to get to know Matt a little bit better because we're going to play a game of Buy, Rent, Return. Back like what you did in the days of Blockbuster. We've got 3 choices this week, and it's very timely because we're going to talk about 3 games, which I think all of them potential will come out this year. I don't know if anything is really guaranteed, but we're going to play like it is. And these are from the 3 platform holders. We've got, I think the official title is the sequel to The Breath of the Wild to The Legend of Zelda. Maybe I get a voice this time. Is that the official name?
I would like to thank you for using the official name, actually. Too many people don't call it that. So thank you for taking
That's
the time
true.
to really get the full thing out there. I appreciate that.
I try.
They should just go with that name and just pull a triangle strategy and just call it
remove project and just call it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I love Japanese naming, as you know. Matt, you're a JRPG fan. Mm-hmm. You're all in on it.
I'm just waiting for the Roman numeral to be added to this name, and then we're really 100% ready to go.
And a fraction or some type of math equation involved makes it better.
Yep.
Definitely. God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation 5 and 4, and Starfield exclusive to Xbox and PC and Xbox One and streaming. Did I miss any consoles? Stadia, maybe?
Nobody knows anymore. I don't think Google does either.
Stadia, as they call it. Oh, well. So let's start. So, Matt, you're a guest. Where do you stand on these? Buy, rent, or return?
So I'm going to go for the easy one first. I'm going to return Starfield, personally. I am not a massive Bethesda person. I don't think I've never finished any really proper Bethesda developed game. The Elder Scrolls series I've tried to get into with Skyrim, and then again with Skyrim, and then once more with Skyrim VR. But I never really 100% clicked. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be good. And for the people who are going to enjoy it, they're not usually my cup of tea. Where I start to struggle with is the buy versus the rent. because God of War was like the reboot was such a seminal entry in the series and just like one of my favorite games, along with Breath of the Wild, which my opinion has soured on a little bit more as time's gone on. But like I'm genuinely very very excited for what the sequel is going to bring. Sorry, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, Nintendo Switch Edition. Wii U exclusive. But I'm excited for this next one. So I think where I have to go with these, I think I'm going to rent God of War just because I think it's going to be a shorter experience overall. I think like if it's anything like God of War 1 is, I'm not usually one that, 100%'s everything. I'm not usually one that really tries to get everything under the belt. I kind of go for the story and have my fun along the way. So I feel like God of War is going to be a great like weekend game. Right. I have no insider information, but I just feel like that's going to be like a good sit down, burn through it within 24 to 48 hours. And I'm going to love my time with it. Breath of the Wild 2. Sorry, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, blah, 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 blah. I feel like I'm just going to have more time in it just because of how big and expansive I'm expecting it to be. So I'm going to buy Breath of the Wild 2. I'll rent God of War, and I would return Starfield. But that really depends on the day. I could switch to buy and rent very quickly, very easily, depending on how I'm feeling. But with where my heart is at right now, Todd, that's my chance. That's my answer.
Well, it's a wise strategy for late fee aversion because I don't know what they were back in the day, but I mean, you missed a day. It was like, an extra $7. So I think you picked the right strategy.
Yeah, my parents were they were very wary for renting stuff from me from Blockbuster or Rogers just because sometimes I'd be like, yeah, it's totally due in on Friday. Really, it's due on Wednesday, but I'm like, I know I can buy a couple more days. The Fallout was never good. But I had fun with it, so
yeah, 100%.
At least you don't have to rent. You don't have to rewind video games. That's a good thing, right?
That would be forever.
Mark, how are we feeling on this, buddy?
This is made slightly easier simply by the fact that I don't own a PlayStation 5 yet. That could
break out the shame meme. The shame meme is coming, Mark.
that could have complicated things, but as I stand right now, returning God of War, which I'm sure will be a fantastic game. However, at the current time, I can't play it. Don't know when or if I will get a PlayStation 5 even this year. So that is going to be an easy return for me simply by circumstance. That means that Starfield will be my rental because as I like Bethesda games. I love Skyrim. I've put tons of hours into Skyrim on multiple platforms, but I also find that I burn out a little bit. For no pun intended for the Burnout Fighter podcast, but I get burned out a little bit, and I tend to just ADHD squirrel my way away from the main objective and then never return to it. But I spent my time getting a dog in a house and adopting an orphan child, and he only likes the rat and he doesn't like the dog, and it's just so it's so I'm gonna return. I'm gonna rent that and just kind of see how it is. And I have to buy Breath of the Wild 2, the sequel, the squeakquel, as it were. Sorry, I just watched Alvin and the Chipmunks with.
Oh my goodness! Deep cut, Mark. The squeakquel, or was it the island one? There's like three of them, right?
We only watched the first one. He enjoyed the first one, and then we tried to watch the squeakquel the next day, and it was just like no.
You don't want to miss out on the story.
No, exactly. So Breath of the Wild 2, definitely, I'm buying that one. I put 200 plus hours into Breath of the Wild.
Dang.
In my first kind of run through / exploration afterwards, and then started it over. And I can't remember how many hours I put in there. Anyway, that's my buy. So there we go. Todd,
very nice.
How you feeling?
Yeah, this is a hard one because I have a love-hate with Bethesda games. I loved Skyrim, but the Fallout games just kind of wore me out because some RPGs do the auto leveling or they level with you. Some do not, where you basically walk into a region and if you go in there like, oh, I can't do anything. I'm like way underpowered. I like to know what the enemies at least are leveled at, so I have an idea if I'm going to be ready eventually. And I don't remember if the Fallout games do that or not. I remember just getting destroyed so many times in Fallout. I'm like, I'm not having a good time, folks, and I don't want to grind that much. But Skyrim I
does
love.
that
So
too. I ended up in one of my playthroughs of Skyrim, I went I zigged when I should have zagged. I ended up in the wrongest place that I could have. And it was on an island. I took a boat there that I shouldn't have probably gotten access to. And then I couldn't figure out how to get back to the main place. And I just, everywhere I turned around, I was just getting one-shotted and just this isn't fun anymore. So delete that save and start over again. Thanks for wasting 15 friggin' hours of my life. And then getting So Skyrim definitely does that.
I have nightmares of what were they called, death claws in Fallout when I was younger, trying to play through Fallout 3 and then just getting absolutely ransacked because again I took a left when I should have taken a right and just getting absolutely demolished. And I was like, you know what, I am going to nuke your city, you stupid death claws. Let's go.
Yeah, I was still heartbroken after you ratted out the man with the hat and they ended up killing the sheriff. That was a tough one for me. I'm like, what? This isn't real life. Take out this man. I don't know. Oh, well. So I don't know what this game is going to be like. Nobody knows what this game is going to be like. If it's going to have anything at all or it's going to be No Man's Sky plus actual mechanics of flight that just gets to be overwhelming. I don't know. But I'm going to return that, at least for now. God of War Ragnarok, I like the thought process of it's a rental. God of War, even after you beat it, the first one, you can still explore the world, take on some very hard enemies that are very daunting, and then you can just continue to have stories told to you. It's very fun. I like that. And then I've gone back to it since when it got the upgrade, the latest upgrade, and it is amazing. And I'm going to play it again. I started it in this one. And Mark, quite honestly, you've got to hold off on God of War or Ragnarok because you've got to play God of War first.
Yes, I do.
So
I do have. My brother has the copy of that, so I am going to play God of War soon.
Nice.
Yeah, because you can't play Ragnarok first. You have to play the first one.
No,
you're a dad now. Yeah. It is mandatory if you're a father to play God of War.
I bugged him for it last time I saw him, and it's happening.
Absolutely. And then Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, I was not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild, but I beat it and I had a great time. I wasn't enamored as much, but I do appreciate what they did and I thought I enjoyed it. And the sequel, I'm really anticipating, hopefully they zig when they normally would zag and say, you know what, broken weapons, we don't do that anymore. We've got better people to forge weapons. We're not incompetent. We can actually let you use your weapon for a little bit longer. So I'm hoping they do different things to just basically keep people at odds with their expectations and try some new things. If you're going to have traversal, cool. But show me something cool when I find it versus just a Korok. So I'm hoping they do that, and it is a long game, and it's going to be cool. And I hope we get this game this fall, because I think that would be awesome, a 5-year anniversary of Breath of the Wild. So there you go, folks. Let us know what you thought of your Pirate Return.
Game of the year. That's all. I'm just going to...
With the Switch Pro?
No, I think Breath of the Wild 2, the sequel, the squeakquel, should have some sort of poop reward, just like the first one did for collecting all the Korok seeds. I think they can't leave that out now. That's going to be
Epona leaves a trail of poos.
Yeah, you have to collect twice as many useless seeds, and then you get more poop. I think in this one.
And just you wait, because this time I think you're onto something, Todd. I don't think our weapons will break. I think our bones will break. Just try to climbing something with the one arm or with a splint on your leg as you try and make your way up the mountain. They're going to listen too much. They're going to say, you know what? Now, let's get Link Advils, lots of them, and you're gonna have to make some special potions to get him through this boss battle because he is hurting.
I like that.
No, he's actually going to be a middle-aged Link this time. He's like, I'm in middle-aged. My back hurts. I slept wrong. I sneezed too hard.
If you sleep on the wrong bed, he's going to wake up with like a -5 in his stamina for the day.
Yeah, 3 hours of sleep. What? It's like instead of you sleep the whole night, this one you're going to wake up, you're like, oh, I'm going to look at my phone. Can I fall back asleep? It's going to be the real life simulator that we always wanted.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see just Link just snort a rail and go after. Since just he's all broken. He's like, I still got to fight these guys. I don't know how I'm going to just, all right, let's go. Come on.
So you made him a drug addict now?
Yeah. I mean, that's
Okay, good.
how else
We
are you
also-
going to fight a dozen orcs with a broken leg?
Listen, we
Got to
all
be
saw it
high on
coming.
something. Picking those mushrooms for a reason.
Is that the first Nintendo game with like a drug warning?
No, Mario should have included that long ago.
Yep.
Okay,
It's
the
like
mushrooms,
a plumber
the
just finding
shrooms.
random
Yeah.
mushrooms and hallucinating turtles. Yeah, dude, he's definitely a drug addict.
Love
He
it.
became a
Love it.
doctor somehow, pushing pills.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
And Mark's the Nintendo fan, so there you go, folks.
And he knows exactly what he's talking about. There's no better person to listen to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love this. Oh, right. We're going to get into what we've been playing, folks. This is going to be fun. So, Matt, Horizon Zero Dawn is your game, and I will tell you that I am horrible at this game, but I love the story. So I played on like the story mode.
And I completely appreciate that. I just finished it for the first time. I originally was playing it right when it came out, but then I had the battle of my brain of Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn, and I could not come to terms with the differences between them. So I left Horizon alone because I was just having too much fun with Breath of the Wild. And I finally finished it, getting ready for Forbidden West. And I was literally just playing some. I just started the Frozen Wilds, before we started recording. But I liked Zero Dawn. I thought it was good. I don't think I think it's a little. People make a little more out of it than I think it is, and that's only for a couple reasons. I think Aloy is a great character. I think the world is so full of such interesting lore, and I think the monster design is some of the best out there. It took me starting to play it more as like a Monster Hunter than a Legend of Zelda or a Ghost of Tsushima for it to finally click for me, because I was like, okay, I have to really prep for each situation. I have to make sure I have the right weapon and the right armor set. Like I have to really plan for this, and I started to enjoy it more for there. But I still find myself I think the open world is too big, and I think traversal around it is not exactly great. Like if you don't fast travel to the right point to get a strider or something that you can mount, you're just kind of left running endlessly. And along with like, I love Aloy, and I think I agree with you, Todd. I think the main story is fantastic. I think everything around that is okay. It's really, really good when it's really, really good, and when it's not, it's just kind of there. I don't think any of the characters are particularly likable outside of Aloy. I thought that like it was a really solid entry for Guerrilla into this type of space, and I'm really expecting Forbidden West to be like the Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 kind of get like leap in terms of quality, because I think a lot of what Zero Dawn does is good. Some of it's amazing, some of it's okay, but I think it falls solidly in that kind of middle tier. But I really think that the next game is going to be something really, really special, and kind of live up to what I think Zero Dawn was in my mind, at least due to hype and everything else and how much I heard about it, and now playing it years later. So I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to see what Frozen Wilds is going to be like. And I'm very, very excited for Forbidden West, because I do think this is going to be a big jump forward. I don't know. How do you guys feel about Zero Dawn? I know, Todd, you just mentioned that you played it on the story mode because you enjoyed it for what it was. But what do you guys think?
I didn't play it at all. So Todd, this is all you.
I hope they refine the mechanics of the combat, because while I like using a bow and arrow in most games, the fact that it's your primary weapon and then you do some melee, I just get very nervous. Like I've gone hunting in real life before. Buck fever, if you ever heard the term, is a reality. Like you're like, the same thing with those beasts when they're coming at you. It can get overwhelming. And to your point, you do have to get ready, because you have to use some like defensive techniques, some traps and things like that. It's so unlike Breath of the Wild, where everything is dangerous in this world. Like you will go and it's like, I'm getting stalked, and can you get enough things? So it's like, I hope they pivot a little bit and they balance not just the bow mechanics, but other things that allow you to be a little bit more creative in your combat, that the bow doesn't have to always be your first option, because I kind of feel that's the way. And I hope they balance the humans to beasts encounters as well. But I'm really looking forward to it. And to your point, the fact that Guerrilla delivered from Killzone to this is amazing. I don't know if another studio pivoted like so definitively to their second series.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I appreciate that as well, because sometimes the bow stuff, especially when you're fighting multiple enemies and you're just trying to like aim at one of them as you're trying to like frantically look around the screen, being like, where is anything else happening from? It can get a little much. So I think you're right. I am very encouraged by what we've seen from Forbidden West so far. So I hope that that's going to be a knock out of the park. But yeah, that's kind of that's what I've been playing lately.
Fantastic. Mark, So I'm assuming you haven't been playing N64 games on your N64. So how is it going with the new controller?
Correct assumption. Yeah. So I think I mentioned on either the last episode or maybe the one before that that I've been playing with a Hyperkin Admiral 64. I think is the controller's name. And then the holidays hit, and I got distracted by some other games and other things. So I dug this controller back up and really started diving into the N64 games on Nintendo Switch Online with, I'm not going to say a proper N64 controller, but it's shaped more like a modern controller, but has the proper C buttons rather than a stick. So it maps correctly to an actual N64 controller, but with a more modern layout. So I've been playing some Ocarina, some Mario Kart, and Mario 64. Putting a lot more time into Mario 64 than the other games. But I also tried the online for Mario Kart, and that worked really well. So yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. Once you have a functional N64 controller or reasonable facsimile with the C buttons instead of a stick or weird like hold in R and use the face buttons kind of like bullshit that they use with like an undocked Switch or the Pro controller. It really makes it feel better, even if the controller is not like your standard weird sticked N64 controller. So yeah, it's I'm really enjoying it, and like I said, the online holds up. I haven't really tried online with any of the Nintendo Switch online games like the Super Nintendo or anything before, not to any major extent. So trying it in Super Mario Kart was a really pleasant experience. I can't really complain. It's it's good, and I'm sure you could pick these apart for the emulation, and that's been done before, but kind of getting a couple of months out from the N64 launch and kind of getting a little bit of that behind me and just enjoying these games for like, I can take them anywhere. They're on my Switch. Like I brought my Switch to my parents' place and showed my brother this controller, and I just used it in tabletop mode because the OLED Switch has such a better kickstand that tabletop mode is like kind of doable
Usable
now. And so I just kind of propped it up, and we were both like just handing the controller back and forth playing Super Mario 64. And he was like, I think I need one of these controllers. And my wife likes it so much, like she kept stealing it. So I think I'm going to buy another one of those controllers. So like it's just like, if Nintendo's not going to sell the official ones, then I'm just going to keep buying these. It's good though. I like it. I'm happy that I can just go back and play these, and I want more N64 games now, especially that take advantage of the C buttons like Banjo Kazooie and that kind of stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to more games and getting into more games. Paper Mario's there now, so yeah, I'm kind of enjoying this little like retro look back before Pokemon comes out.
Very cool, Mark. All I gotta say is hopefully Atomic Purple becomes a reality.
There is a see-through purple of this controller, so you can get your Atomic Purple, Todd. I got the boring black one right now, but I think the one I'm going to buy for my
is that
wife,
the official name?
Boring black. Yeah.
Garish gray,
that's
boring
on the box.
black.
Yeah. That is on the box. But I think I'm gonna go buy the Atomic Purple one because it's that like perfectly see-through like N64 style Atomic Purple. It's pretty great. So
tempted to buy those shells for the Switch where you could buy them for the controllers and they were see-through purple.
Beautiful.
So good.
I might be dumb, but I have a question about this controller. Do you need the GameCube adapter for it? Because I'm seeing here on the link that Todd sent over. Or is it Bluetooth?
It's
compatible.
Bluetooth.
Like, how does it work?
It does. It does come with an attachment,
dongle?
like a dongle, but that's for the actual N64. Like you could use this on a real Nintendo 64.
Cool. That's nice.
Oh, nice.
And
yeah.
actually plug it in, and it works that way.
It's like the Wavebird before the Wavebird.
Exactly. Yeah. So you could actually use it. Like it's a Bluetooth dongle for an actual functioning N64. But that dongle has been sitting in the box and unused because it just uses regular Bluetooth to connect to the
Cool.
Switch. The one thing I will say, if you do pick one of these up, when you're doing the sync, you can't just regularly sync this controller. You have to hold the sync button and one of the C buttons, because otherwise the buttons don't map correctly. So A becomes B and bottom C becomes A. It's a really weird mapping kind of thing. But when you hold in the C button,
You see
it
our
maps
faces
correctly.
right now. We're like, what?
I know.
What?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super weird. Apparently they're like working on a firmware patch or something for the controller, but for right now, if you hold in the sync button and a C button, it just works. So
Fair enough.
not much to worry about. But that
Yeah.
that was one thing that I like when I first tried it a couple weeks ago. I was like, this doesn't work. I'm going to return it. And then I read all the stuff and I went back and bought it again. And I was like, oh, that just worked. Okay, cool. So
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's neat.
Excellent. Well, I've got a couple games. The first will be the Gunk. It's a game that just kind of stealth launched in December, which I'm like, I don't know why they did this. It should have been a January game because there's not much going on right now. There's like nothing releasing. This should have been a January game completely because it would get some more press because this game is already launched. But this is a really fun game. I believe Mark, this is by Zoink Games.
Image and Form.
Image and Form. Okay.
Yeah.
Thunderful. I always
World,
confuse
that kind
all
of
of
stuff.
the.
So Thunderful's the overall publisher. Zoink
overall,
and
okay.
Image and Form
Okay.
combined to create Thunderful Publishing or Thunderful Games. But this one is by Image and Form, who made the SteamWorld games.
SteamWorld games. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So this is just a
Zoink's
really fun
Zoink's
game.
latest is Lost in Random.
That's right. The puzzle dice game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. But the Gunk is a lot of fun. It's on Xbox Game Pass. I think you buy it on Xbox as well if you don't have that. Might be on PC. I don't know. But it's fun. You're basically this duo who go to planets. One person goes out and has to clean up the gunk. You suck it up through your device, and you basically are doing action platforming. There's not really combat, I would say, per se, that I've really experienced so far, but you're just kind of opening new ways to explore this really cool alien planet. It's very fun. There's a cool like dialogue mechanic between the person on the ship along with yourself. At times it gets a little blue for some reason I don't understand. It's like, why do you need swearing for a game that seems like it's family friendly? It's very odd.
Okay.
It's like
That's strange.
a very odd choice, and I keep hearing everybody say the same thing.
Like Cinemora X, if you guys played that, it was like this weird, like kind of Star Fox shooter kind of game, but and they'd randomly drop like the most obscene curses and like talk about like rape and stuff. Like it was so weird to see these like animals.
Well, they don't do
like,
that in this game, folks.
It was such a weird thing, and I was totally ready for this Star Fox X experience, and it was just like F this, F that, like just it's such a weird game.
Jeez.
Anyway, so the Gunk's not quite that bad then?
No, the Gunk is not that bad. No, but it does seem a little out of the blue because it seems like a good game to play with your family, pass the controller with your kids. Art style is beautiful. It's really their first full 3D game. It's very fun. The mechanics are great. There are upgrades and things like that, and it's more like a action adventure game versus like a 3D platform where you think of like shooting things. So I'm enjoying it, and it's a short experience from what I've heard, like 7 hours maybe. So it's definitely a game you could go after, and it's like I said, it's on Game Pass, so definitely try it out. But very fun. Nice. Halo Infinite. I think I'm getting close to the end. I am like 12 missions in, and this is like the game that never ends, like the song that goes on and on and on. The campaign is wearing me out a little bit. But I'm still enjoying it. I still keep thinking this game is paced like a co-op game. So I think it would be better as a co-op game than single player because somebody called this the Breath of the Wild of first-person shooters. I would say no. I think the side missions feel very rote. It's just like go to the spot and do this. Go to the spot and do this. There's not real side missions where you can do stuff and explore. I think the Outer Worlds did a better job with that type of like first person shooter with story. But yeah, so I mean, it's there to be completist if you really want to taking out like the value targets, the fobs, the other things as well, but not necessary because you just get the Spartan cores, which allow you to do things. And I don't know who else plays with the other Spartan cores, but man, I'm just using the grapple hook. I don't use the barrier. I don't use the other things. I used, I think, the one where you can see the invisibility of the enemies once for that one boss battle. But beyond that, but yeah, it's really well done. And Mark, surprise, surprise, I got a Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
You
that
did?
shocked me. I saw that news when you were selling your Series S.
I did.
I kind of figured you were going to lean in that direction eventually, but I was surprised that you just jumped so quickly. But it was the storage issue was the final nail in the coffin with it?
It was the storage issue, which, once I realized I only had like 300 gigabytes to play with, and then you realize that the Microsoft core games are 100 gigabytes each, so you get like 3 games, and you're like, what am I going to do? And then all this optimized for Series X games have to be on the internal drive.
Yeah.
So even if you're transferring back and forth from an external, just got to be too problematic. But also the disk drive, because I use GameFly, and it eliminates an option to play disk-based games, and also backwards compatible disk games too. So it's like, oh, okay. And then also it's got more RAM, the hard drive space as well, and the 4K whatever. So it was, once again, it's super easy to upgrade. So I enjoyed that, and I'm going to sell my Series S not at a scalping rate, but probably a little bit less than what I bought it for, because I want people to have a system, but I just don't need it. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nice. I'm glad that you picked that up. Yeah, I just recently got mine as well, and I'm really pleasantly surprised with it so far. It's an awesome piece of tech. But yeah, for Halo, I kind of agree. Like, I really, really enjoyed the campaign for what it was, but I also kind of again, pretty much ripped through it from story mission to story mission, doing stuff kind of along the way if I found it was necessary. That's another example of, I think, of an open world that is kind of lifeless. Like, there isn't a lot of reason to do a lot of those combat encounters in between. Like, there's no experience points. There's no benefit to kind of going after these kind of roaming bands of enemies. Again, that's another scenario where I feel like, with how much of a troubled development Infinite had, that I don't want to see that open world go away. I just really want to see it refined and figured out more for whatever the sequel is going to be. But yeah, I completely understand your point. There's points in that campaign where you're kind of like, okay, all right, what's next?
Okay. It's coming, though. I truly feel like they are going to build this out as a platform. We're going to get DLC. We're going to get more missions. So it becomes like an evergreen game that they don't have to worry. It's not going to be another 6 years before we get more Halo content. Kind of like Gears, where we got that expansion that came out. I think this game has so much more promise that it's right now, it's kind of launching bare bones. Kind of like Splatoon, a lot of Nintendo franchises where it's like, we're going to give you what we want to give you, and then stick around because we're going to reward your patience. So, yeah, but I mean, the game looks great, and it runs awesome. So, you know what? Halo is one of those franchises where they delivered, and I had doubts at first, but I mean, 343 is nailing it. And I'm not a multiplayer fan, so I'm not sticking around for that. So I will probably put it away and then come back when it is the co-op comes out and play with friends.
You got to jump in the Halo Saturdays with Sean.
It's a lot of fun.
I dropped in one match this weekend, and I was so tired because we streamed before that, my wife and I, and then I was just watching Sean stream, and he was like, "Mark, come on in," and it's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess." And I played one match, and I was just like, "Nope, way too tired for video games now. I gotta go to bed." So it was rounding about midnight or a little after at that point. So it's just I'm
if toast. I can play Mario Kart with you, Mark, online, you can play Halo half awake, and you would be just as good as I would.
It was great to see you jump in on Mario Kart. That was fun.
I went from 12th place to 6th place to 11th place. I didn't learn any lessons.
There are no lessons to be learned in Mario Kart. That's it's brutal. Yep.
Nope.
It's just friendship, family ending stuff.
It's now my
very
most
good
played.
assessment.
Mark, that's now my most played Switch game.
I'm sure 15 minutes of my stream
exactly
tops your year.
Yeah, and lastly, this is a surprising game. So I played Effie, and this game is no business to be as good as it is for $20. This is an action 3D platformer from a developer I've never heard before. I got it for free on Amazon Prime Gaming, but it's on Switch, it's on PS4, it's on Xbox. and it's phenomenal. The art style is cartoonish, almost like it's like a toy. You're playing as this man, I can't remember what his name is, Galand, and it's about a story about how your arrogance, a witch basically stole your youth, so you look like an old man, and your goal is to get back your youth, and you are telling the story of how you got back your youth to your young daughter, whose name is Effie. But it is a beautiful, wonderful action platformer. Like I said, 3D platformer. You get a shield. You can surfboard with the shield. You can use it to beat people up. You can use like Captain America where you throw it. And it's just adorable. You have ghosts you beat up. You get these runes that give you power-ups. It's got a good sense of humor. It's wonderful. It's very fun. I just really surprised me, and it just makes me want to stick around. So if you're looking for like an old school 3D action platformer, Effie is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and actually, this looks a lot more interesting than I thought. Because you put Effie down, and I was like, "What the hell is Effie?" But I might actually have to check this out. This actually looks cool.
It's a Norwegian story about teens discovering themselves in a Nova Scotian beach. No, just kidding. It's based on the picture Mark took. Yes.
That's great.
So check out Effie. It's a lot of fun. That is what we played, gentlemen. Now it's time to get into our bonus round. This is what you came to listen to. This is where legends are made and fakers have to pay. The results. Mark, do you want to go on the results of our projections first? Or you want to wait?
The what out? The results?
The predictions of 2021. Do you want to go on those first?
Year? Oh, mercy. Yeah,
or do you want to wait?
Let's see how bad we did.
Okay, so we're going to start off with our predictions of 2021. We'll go through our most anticipated, then we'll go into our predictions for 2022. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's see if we repeated any of our predictions, because I didn't even look, Mark, to see if I'm just repeating my predictions. So there we go. As we get into this, so Mark, let's see. It says, I'll just read this verbatim. Verbatim. Verboten would be like not allowed. I'll not say that. So first off, at the start of the episode, I said we were planning out which movies we'd be able to see in theaters before Finn arrives. Strike one. This isn't going to be pretty. Mark.
Yeah, that was my 2020.
Oh, this 2020?
2021. No. That was that was our look back at 2020, looking to 2021, and I was like looking at all the movie releases, and then 2021 happened.
Okay.
So that's how I started the episode last year, which is like that's what I did the one before that, and I'm already setting it up for just like disaster. So none of my predictions were really solid, but anyway.
And apparently I said Halo, unless something completely goes wrong, Halo's coming out this fall. So I guess I got that right. Fall, winter, it's kind of
No, you said last fall.
Oh, was it last fall?
This was,
oh my God.
You're reading, so that was our predictions.
Oh, it was our recap of last year.
So that we started off with that recap. So, hey, we have predictions, and I saw a movie in a theater this year. So, 2 years yet late, but we're still great. So,
I saw Weezer in concert with my son at Target Field. So it's been a winner, is all I'll say. Yeah. So we'll go from there. So, okay, we'll get into the actual 2021, I guess, because I was a moron about this. Mark said Nintendo really needs a heavy hitter to combat the new systems. It's going to be all on hands deck to get Breath of the Wild 2 out this fall to compete.
Oof. Yeah, their big drop was a Pokemon remake and silence. So that
much for dread.
Wrong.
we got the Danganronpa re-release. That's something.
Yeah, they dropped.
Thanks, Matt, for that reminding us.
Yeah, I like as much like Metroid Dread was my game of the year, but I think they dropped it at such a weird time. Like that could have been a big fall franchise game, and I think it was either an example of Nintendo kind of being nervous about Metroid because they have been in the past, or maybe nervous about going up against heavy hitters like Halo, which I don't think they had to worry about as much as they might have. So, yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, though, man, was I ever wrong.
Perfect, Mark. I think we got a trailer. That was about it. So that's all you got.
Yeah.
So Be happy, as Nintendo would say. So my predictions for Switch: Wonderful 101 Special Edition announced with Beautiful Joe. Also, Joe announced as the last Smash character.
I wish you were right on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, you said Splatoon 3 is announced, which it was, but it was free to play multiplayer.
We still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They could drop this game's coming out free to play and you buy the cosmetics and it's whatever. So I don't know. They've been doing some weird stuff with like things. I'm probably wrong.
You're getting a mobile match 3 game with Splatoon. That's your multiplayer.
That's it. Yeah, that's so.
Splatoon
Anyway,
99.
half a point for Splatoon 3 announced, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, sure. We move on to Xbox. I said Fable is going to be announced, which it was. It's going to be co-op. There's going to be a co-op element. Don't know about that yet.
We just got a CG trailer for that, right?
So there could be co-op in it. We have to check in 2023 or 24 for that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Not bad.
Mark, you said xCloud open beta, including iOS, drops at E3 for everyone. When did that drop?
I think my timing was wrong, but I'm glad that iOS beta kind of existed and whatever. So again, like 0.25 of a point or something.
It seems like it was sometime around June or July, because the how to set up xCloud gaming on your phone started popping up around July.
Okay. All
okay.
Right.
So you were close.
So Matt, you can keep us honest. You can give us,
I'll do my best.
Or, cheers or jeers, as I guess as TV Guide would say.
That's a deep cut.
Yes, it is. Sony, I say PS Now and PS Plus gets packaged and rebranded as PS All Play. Includes VR games and first party, undercuts Game Pass on pricing. Not
rumor
a one.
that, again, we're in a rumor that's going to happen this year. I don't know. I remember this, and I love that you even went swinging for the name. Like, you could have just been like, they're going to combine them and it's going to undercut the price. Now, you were like pointing out in the crowd, like, just like, this is my home run. Here's the name, bitches. Like, that was a hell of a call. But anyway, maybe it'll be this year.
And Matt, I need you to take this back to the home office. Sean Capri called this PS Plow. He just needs to be informed that is actually copyrighted to Jeff Kanata from DLC. He said that a year ago, so if Sean Capri takes notes for it, he will be sued. So he needs to take a step back and come up with a new name.
It's a good thing that I'm now the face of the Yumi and Capri legal team. I'll make sure that Sean hears about this and we fire him.
Do I get points though? Because they did include VR games in PS Plus, right?
They did, but not on the PS. What did you call it? PS Plus.
Okay. I don't even get any pity points.
I'll give you.
But the thing is,
0.0034.
Okay,
point.
I agree.
You're getting that one.
It'll come down to that, folks. Just watch.
Is someone keeping track of the math here? Because I'm sure not.
No, it's going to be a gut feeling.
I am now.
All right, perfect. This is
Mark said Last of Us 2 does not get a PS5 specific version. True. Sony uses this game to showcase cross-gen compatibility with Xbox One X style enhancements. Ooh. No.
Nope.
But you were not wrong about the first part.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Okay, but I'm going to say so that my prediction for this, I'm getting 0 points for this because I really thought that this was going to be the showcase for those kind of enhancements that Xbox was really and continues to really win with. So Sony did none of that, and so I'm giving myself 0 points. Yeah, I'm taking myself out of the equation for this because it like just straight up nothing along the lines of what I was thinking last year.
Oh, Mark, are we completely wrong? Because I'm looking down these notes. I think I'm using 2020's predictions. I look 2021's further down. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm completely wrong now. I don't know. I'll just go through this. I think we're at an end. I will just go with this as our 2021. And you know what? Nobody will question us. I said that this is just third party. This is last of what we cover. I said EA is gonna go all in on Star Wars. BioWare remastering KOTOR.
I'll give you a little bit of like props for that one. We're getting a KOTOR remaster, right? And
but not by EA. It's a remake, technically, right?
well, yeah, okay, fine. You know what? That's, like I said, some partially points there. I think that was a good call. And EA all in on Star Wars. Not really.
Nope.
EA got Star Wars taken away, and now it's problematic. Also, hashtag blackout Star Wars Eclipse, because fuck Quantum Dream. Sorry,
Fuck
Henry.
Quantum Dream. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, so that's that thing. And I said GTA 5 on Switch, so that's nope.
You got the
We got the
awesome
trilogy
edition.
or whatever, the terrible edition. So that I'm gonna give myself 1 dead prostitute out of 20 for that. That's my score on that one.
Yeah, and I would say do not look at our predictions below because they're really, really bad. So
I did say Parappa the Rapper is back. So that was
yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So
2020 predictions are just as good as 2021 predictions.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, the last 2 years are kind of like a blur of a combined thing anyway. So I mean, who knows anymore?
I will do in my resolutions for 2022 is do a better job of keeping track of predictions. Sorry,
I actually completely missed that in the show notes. So I was playing catch up there as well. So
or you could just totally make that a running joke, and every year you can look at 2020.
Oh, just do the previous year. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Just keep doing
just always go back to 2020. Like,
exactly.
No, like Paul Rudd
just,
on Conan. Just
exactly.
Here's a new clip from my brand new movie, and he always shows that weird alien in a
Mac
wheelchair
and me.
thing. Yeah,
the best interview in the world. Love it.
Yeah.
So
So
by my count, Todd got a 0.044. I gave him I gave him a plus 0.001 for that last bonus points. Mark, if I remember correctly, Mark walks away with a 0.5 and 1 dead prostitute out of 20. So
yeah.
Who's the real winner now?
The GTA collection on Switch,
boys. Yeah. Mark, you can really put a cap in that one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hope you're happy with your win.
Your no prize is in the mail, Mark.
My parents have never been prouder.
I think that's the first time we've mentioned prostitute on the podcast. So there you go. Points.
There you go.
Oh, well, now we're going to get into most anticipated games of 2022. And these are with release dates and maybe some that do not. So we don't specify. We just say these are games we would love to come out and we're excited for. So if we repeat any games, we'll just talk about it when someone brings them up. So Matt, what is your first game you're excited about?
I am stoked on Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever the correct pronunciation is. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know what to expect. I love Pokemon. I've always loved Pokemon, good and bad, angry times and good times. But I appreciate that at least they're finally doing something a little bit different. They're taking a swing. Regardless of how it's going to work out, I'm happy that it's something new. Plus, Cyndaquil is my favorite Pokemon of all time. And he's finally back as a starter, so I get my little fiery boy back. So I'm stoked on Legends Arceus. I'm excited to see what that game's going to be, and I just hope that regardless of it's going to sell, we're not worried about the sales. Regardless of review scores, I just hope that Game Freak continues to do something weird, something different, and just continues to play with our expectations because it's been a long time since I've been this excited for a Pokemon game, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be.
And that's, I think, the closest one that any of us are going to talk about because that's coming out in a couple of weeks?
Couple of weeks,
yeah.
2-3 weeks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's top of my list as well. I really hope the reviews are good. I hope it plays well, and I all the same things. I can't say anything any better. And also, yes, always fire starters, 100%. So yeah, let's go.
I'm so confused. Why are they launching like Pokemon games like 2 months in? Normally, this would be like their Christmas game, right? I'm so confused.
Because
they get some targets, I guess, in 2021 to figure out in their fiscal year. I assume that's the only reason.
That might not be that far off, honestly.
My son my son is excited about this game, but he's complained about the performance. He's 16 years old. He's like, Dad, this game doesn't look like it's going to perform well, like in regards to like the Switch hardware. It looks like it's staggering. So he thought this would get delayed for the Switch Pro, but I think he's wrong. But I hope they're going to show it again and it looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my first one.
So Mark, what is your first one?
Well, it's again Pokemon Legends, but I'll drop Tunic. We've been waiting for that for a while. I thought the demo was cute, and it's developed by someone pretty close in the same province as I am. So I'm pumped for that one. It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I am curious about that one too. Is it coming to Game Pass?
Don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel like it is, but I might be wrong.
Or is this like a Death's Door where it's like it's renowned, but it's gonna bypass Game Pass?
Yeah, I bought Death's Door and I haven't started it up yet. So I don't think they've officially announced Tuna coming to Game Pass. I could be wrong, but anyway,
they haven't. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Todd, what do you have?
Because I'm going to skip Matt's game because he's going to talk about it. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I have a love-hate relationship with Borderlands. Love Borderlands 2, totally did not gel with Borderlands 3. But what gets me excited about Tiny Tina's Wonderland is one of the best parts of Borderlands has been Tiny Tina and her RPG fantasy elements bought in with Borderlands, and they're going full bore into this mix of goblins with RPGs. I'm like, okay, why not? And I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. I love the voice cast, and I hope I like it. I had never played co-op in a Borderlands game except once, and we got so annoyed at each other for checking out our inventories. It just totally killed the mojo of like moving forward. Because like, which gun is good? I don't know. There's 8,000 guns in Borderlands. Which one should I get? The Venom bullets? I don't know. So I'm hoping this one like simplifies which guns you get, so you spend less times in menus.
Mm-hmm. Solid.
So Matt, we're going round robin. Your game, I'm so excited.
Would it be better because we didn't really number these out? Would it be better to just kind of read the lists and stop to talk about stuff that we have in common, maybe? Or
sure,
it's going to become very uneven.
Okay. Matt, we'll go through your list, and then if we are like it, we'll talk about it. So go with yours.
Good. So for me, my next one's Sifu. I love how badass this game looks. I think the aging mechanic is such a cool idea. I love like a good martial arts based game. And it's giving me like, I always think back to like the PS1 Jackie Chan Adventures game. I absolutely adored that game. But I'm really excited for Sifu. The combat looks like a lot of fun, and I just can't wait to, beat the hell out of way too many people and get very old doing it. But yeah, I'm stoked on Sifu.
My family is a martial arts household. My wife and my son are both Taekwondo black belts. They're testing for their second degree black belts in April. I love martial arts as a kid. Loved it. There's a great special on Netflix. It's all about martial arts and cinema. Love it. This game, we have not had a pure like visceral martial arts game in years. I love this. I cannot wait.
Yeah, well said. Remind me to never piss you off. Horizon Forbidden West.
Not me, my family.
Same thing.
I'm useless.
Horizon Forbidden West, like I mentioned earlier, I really do think this is going to be a giant step up for what this franchise is, and I really think it's going to help cement Guerrilla as one of like the top tier developers out here. I really do believe in it a lot, and I'm excited just from traversal to the way that you move to the way that you'll actually look like you'll have different combos and different way that the combat seems to be improved. I am very excited about this one because I do think it's going to be a big step forward for them. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. Monarch is for the JRPG fan in me. This is a game that's already out in Japan, but it's coming stateside in February. Of course, why not launch any other month of the year? But it's led by a bunch of ex Persona developers who were there at the studio for a long time. So I'm incredibly excited for Monarch. I want to play it. I want to take a look at it. It looks weird and dark and very JRPG. So I'm all in on it. Whatever the hell Persona does, I put that on my list because we still have a number of announcements left from their anniversary. Lord knows what they're going to be or when they're coming out. We know Ultimax is coming in March, which I'm excited to actually jump in and play through properly because I tried to play it back in the day. And fighting games are very much like when I'm in the mood for them. So I'm excited for Ultimax, but I'm also excited just to see what else they're going to do this year. If we do have any other remasters or any other reports come in, I just want to play them. Marvel's Midnight
So
Suns is
Matt,
another.
when is
Yeah,
PS4 Golden or Persona 4 Golden? I got it for my son on PC. He loved Persona 5 and Royale. He didn't like Strikers that much because he didn't love the mechanics.
sure.
Is that game gonna finally get out? Are other Persona games gonna finally release on other platforms?
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. 4 Golden is still my favorite in the series. It was my first one back on my Vita. But I absolutely love it. And I hope that they continue to do this because that series is far too good for it to be stranded. And I really hope Persona 6 is going to be not exclusive, even though 99.9% of me believes that it will be. I hope more people get their hands on it, especially with three to 4 to 5, which is pretty much like the new trilogy. They're so different in like 3 probably has my favorite story, 4 has my favorite cast, and 5 is just the best overall. So I do hope 3 comes back in a way that they round it out with all of the stuff because there's multiple versions of the game that hold different things. One of them has a female protagonist you can play as. One of them has like an after story. So it's very split apart. And I want more Persona to be at least on PC, so more people can check it out. So I hope so, Todd. I really, really hope so. Marvel's Midnight Suns, I can't wait for. I've never been a big XCOM guy, but I really love tactical RPGs, Fire Emblem and stuff like Dark Deity. Some of my favorite games out there. Three Houses is one of the best Switch games, so I'm excited for them to take a crack at Marvel because I absolutely love Marvel. I love everything about the MCU, love everything about the comics. So Midnight Suns just looks badass. It looks moody. It looks dark. It looks weird, and I want to hang out with with Wolverine and see what he thinks about.
I like the art style for that one too. It's
right.
really looking
Yeah,
badass.
I hope I like that. I hope that style of game finally nails with me because I love the aesthetic. I like the characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like the style of game, the gameplay itself, like not catching me because I really want to experience this story. So I want to get into this game, but I didn't include it on my list because I'm still so iffy if I'm gonna really enjoy that type of game. So this might be one that I don't know, turn on story mode or watch some cutscenes or something. But like, I really want to appreciate what they're doing with this game. So I'm glad it's on your list though. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally a swing in a weird direction. Not only is it a tactical RPG, it's also a card-based tactical RPG. So I understand a lot of people's apprehension towards that style of gameplay. I personally really vibe with both of them, and to see them together in this kind of way, I'm very curious to see if it's going to land. I'm still a little bit nervous just because of, again, it is a swing in a different direction, but I'm excited to see what comes from it. And Forspoken, I'm very, very excited about. A little more nervous after the last round of previews and the last bit of footage that we saw. But the game looks awesome. The fact that Gary Whitta is working on it and Amy Hennig, I think, is also part of the story development.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very up on it. Very, very excited to see how this game is going to shake out. The game looks beautiful. The movement looks very fluid and fast. And I'm super, super stoked to give it a whirl. And I can't wait. That's pretty much the end of my list so far. There's plenty more that I'm excited about, but these are the ones that I wanted to single out.
Yeah, here on Forspoken, I'm so excited about that. I always like the surprise games we get every year that's like, I don't know what to think, and then I get a Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm hoping this is it.
I hope so.
So, Mr. Mark, here we go.
Yes. Okay, so I mentioned Starfield at the start of the show. I'm not going to talk too much more about that, but I am hoping that it takes the best of a Bethesda game and puts it in space. So there we go. Bayonetta 3, big fan of the series, and I'm looking forward to that one when it finally drops.
I hope so too.
It drops this year.
I hope so too.
We'll see.
I love Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that drops this year. Again, hoping it drops this year. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. It's been delayed for 47 years now.
Holy crap!
It's just got to come out. Charlie had a slight moment of panic earlier today and shared a photo with us of like a December 31st, 2022 launch. And I was like, don't worry, it's a placeholder. We tried to calm him down. I don't know if he's okay right now. He hasn't really spoken much since, but I'm hoping that game comes out sooner rather than later. I hope they don't push it to the fall. This would be a great like spring, summer of game. Like drop it on May 4th. Just be like, hey, here's this game. May the 4th be with you. It's out. Here you go. Enjoy. They were talking about some DLC already. So like the Bad Batch DLC, I saw that drop on one of the Star Wars Twitter accounts that I follow. So if they're already starting and planning out DLC, I'm hoping the game's got to be close to finished because then why else wouldn't that part be included in the game? So anyway, that's
I hope that's a platform, Mark. I hope it's really a platform for new Star Wars content from like Disney Plus and things like that. It would just make
100%.
so much sense. And are we getting the voice actors from everything? Or are we getting like the people that are pretending to be the actors?
Don't know. I'm guessing people pretending to be the actors,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah. Gotham Knights is another one that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Along with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and part of me is like scared that they're releasing both of those this year potentially, and it's like I don't know. I feel like one of them has to be bad for some reason, just because like comic book games and stuff. Like I don't know. Like if they're both great, that's awesome. And I hope they are, because I hope they're different enough and weird enough and whatever. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be like Avengers versus Guardians, and one of them's going to be like, eh, and the other one's going to be like, this is surprisingly great. So we'll see.
See,
How did Gotham Knights not get the like confirmed release date, but Suicide Squad did? It's so bizarre.
I just hope that there's a good at least 4 or 5 months between these two games, because regardless of their quality, I think you're 100% right, Mark. They're going to be compared no matter what happens. So at least give the first game a bit of breathing room for the second one. With stuff like recency bias and everything, it's going to be really hard for whatever game comes out second, because everybody's going to be talking about the second game, forget about the first. But yeah, I'm more excited for Suicide Squad personally. Gotham Knights, I'm still kind of eyeing to see how it's going to kind of shake out. But I'm very curious to see more of both of these.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's where I'm at. It's like I'm curious to see where they go, and I think Suicide Squad could be fun. I want to play as like King Shark and just do some just crazy stuff with that. Speaking of crazy stuff, I never thought the first game would work, but I'm incredibly excited for the sequel. Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Joy. The first game was a delight. The DLC was great, and just give me more of that, and just keep on going. So I can't believe they're getting a sequel. I couldn't believe the first game happened and it was good, let alone like this is continuing. Like maybe this isn't the darkest timeline. Like there's some spark of joy right there, or spark of hope. There we go. This is it. Splatoon 3. We mentioned it already. I'm hoping that comes out this year. I'm hoping they announce more, and I hope they change things up a little bit. We have Splatoon 2 on Switch already, and that, despite them kind of like finishing with that game, still has a fairly active community online. And I see people like, I have a Splatoon 2 starter guide on my old YouTube channel, like the Canadian YouTube channel that I don't really use anymore. And I still get comments of people asking me like over the holidays, like new people got Splatoon 2 and were saying like, how do you do this? How do you get that? How do you, like, oh, I see you had this thing. And it still gets comments. It still gets views every month. And it's like, who are these new people playing Splatoon and picking it up for the first time? And this game was done with like a year ago or more, a couple of years, but it's, so I hope they do change it up and get all of the audience in and do some fun new things with it while still keeping it Splatoony. And that game's going to be bittersweet for me though, not playing with Bobby. So that's the one caveat that I'll add.
And
to
your
that
podcast, Mark. You guys did a podcast.
We Bobby and I had the Ink Strike podcast with my friend Joe, and it's going to be weird not coming back for a little reunion or something, a couple of episodes, or just like I said, just jumping in and playing Splatoon with Bobby.
Mark,
it's going to be weird.
Something to make Bobby really proud was if you could get me to be a Splatoon player. So you might have to be my Sherpa on Splatoon, because I like the idea of Splatoon. I've just failed to get the control scheme right, but I like the elements of it. So maybe that's really what you're here for, Mark. That's why we came together. You are to make me like Rocky. You're Mick. Get it, Todd. Get it.
I was just going to say, I'm going to have to start drinking whiskey and gravel to get my voice right, but like, let's do this. I'll make it work.
I'm up for it, man.
You're gonna have to go down to see him and just start throwing paint at him already to start preparing. Be like, get used to this.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Exactly.
There you go. And the last one on my list is a dumb, weird throwback addition to
Yes.
my list. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge looks just like the old arcade games that I loved and used to play with my brother and my cousins. And then the Turtles in Time. It looks like all of those old games, and sometimes I need that. And for this to be a new game and not like a remaster of the old ones or a re-release of just like, they could have just ported Turtles in Time and I would have been ecstatic. But I just really hope this is good. Because we've seen this go both ways of these like retro throwbacks and kind of that genre of game that's been coming back. And sometimes they do it right. Sometimes they do it really wrong. And from what I've seen so far, this seems to be leaning more right, but we'll see. But it's definitely on my list of something that's like that's going to be a fun dumb weekend that I'm going to be like calling my brother and my cousins to be like, just guys, come over. I've got 4 controllers. Let's just sit down and rock this like we did with Turtles in Time. Let's go.
Absolutely. Online co-op, please. I'm not sure if they've announced it. Don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea because I want to be sitting on my couch and playing this.
Mark, it's a very expensive flight to fly to your home base in Atlantis.
Fine.
I have to get a sub. Okay. I have to talk to the whales. It's not cheap.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. To play with you and online friends. Yes. I hope this has online multiplayer because that will be fun. But my main goal, I want to play this with my brother like we used to play Super Nintendo games. That's my goal with this one. Anything else is a cherry on top of a hopefully delicious sundae. Todd, what are you excited for?
Oh my goodness, yeah. We've talked about a bunch of these games, so I'm going to skip over the games and these are going to be some deep cuts. Evil Dead the game. I don't know what this game is going to be. It's going to be maybe a 4-player versus kind of like a Back 4 Blood with Evil Dead team taking on Deadites. I don't know. I love the Evil Dead. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I've met Bruce Campbell once through Charlie. Long story. Cool. Talk about it later. Love that series. Hope it's good. The Last of Kirby. Is that what we're calling it?
I think that's a good name. I think it's a good name.
Bobby is swearing at us, but I think that game looks cool. My son loves Kirby games, even the bad ones, and we love to play together. That'll be fun. I don't know if there's any multiplayer in it, but that looks a lot of fun. Just the boss fights. It's just a really good 3D platformer, so why not? Ghostwire Tokyo. I cannot wait for this game. I love the fact that it's supernatural, Asian, potentially some cool first person mysticism, Big Trouble in Little Tokyo. Bring me on. I'm all for this game. It's going to be an Xbox exclusive next year, but for now it's from the PlayStation.
I can't wait for this one. I have a whole I don't usually play too many horror-esque games, which is this is giving me a bit of vibes, but I like the ones that make you feel powerful in a world that is constantly trying to kill you. And from what we've seen of Ghostwire, that looks exactly like that. I'm really excited to see more of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if we got a release date, but you know what? I'll be in on this game. Very cool. And once again, it's an Xbox studio now, and they're making a PlayStation game. So crazy things. And Xbox gamers get to play this in a year. So very cool. God of War Ragnarok. We already talked about this game. I'm all in, like Flynn. Can't wait to play it. A game that I'm a little bit conflicted on because at first when I saw Little Devil Inside, I'm like, yes, please more. Saw it again. I'm not sure if I really like this game, but I want to be convinced this is going to be a really cool indie game. So I don't know what to expect. I hope it delivers. It may not, but still excited about that. Replaced. This is the Xbox game we saw in 2020, I think, with a pixel art, really cool aesthetic, like Blade Runner. Don't know about this game, whether it's coming out or not, but I think this is coming to Game Pass. So excited about that. But once again, don't know if it's these are games that had no release date in our article. And then we got Star Trek Resurgence, which I believe is a Telltale game, or at least by the Telltale people. I like Star Trek. I like the fact that we're going to get a cool game with Star Trek that's not like a Star Trek Starship Simulator. This could be a lot of fun, and especially with the Telltale engine. Star Trek is about relationships and exploration with those type of personalities and strange new worlds. This works really well with it. That could be cool. And lastly, gentlemen, this game could be cool. The House of the Dead remake. And I'm going to play it on Switch because I want to use pointers to shoot zombies in the head like I'm in an arcade.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I can't wait to see the Joy-Con gun mount. Like, I want that. I need that. That's that's going to make this game 100% more fun.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best games on Wii was that House of the Dead.
Yes.
But it was like ridiculously over the top swear words.
House of the Dead Overkill.
Oh, I mean, it was not meant for kids.
No, it was
It
great.
was so ridiculous.
It was so great.
I loved it. Yeah, I love gun games, and the Wii U had a ton of them, and the Switch could have a lot more. So please, Switch, give us gun games like Zumbo Safari and I don't know, House of the Dead 85 through 12. So. All right, that is it for our prediction, our preview of what's coming. Let us know what you're excited about in the world. Mark, we did have some comments about what people were excited about in 2022 in the Discord group. Let me bring that up really quick so I don't miss it. Famous Seamus, the most famous of Seamuses. I hope I got that right because he will kill me if I did not. He said he's looking most into
too. You know, that's another person you know from here.
Oh my God. I always think he's like from Europe because Seamus, it's just very European. So, but you know what? He's very continental. So very, very classy man. He said he's most anticipated is Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Advanced Wars 1 and 2, Reboot Camp, and Saints Row. His predictions: Persona post coming to PS5, maybe Switch as well if we're lucky, and PSVR 2 release sometime in the fall. I think we're all aligned that that's going to happen. Jedi Sean, our friend Sean, said, I want a completely new game, something different. I think he's just burned out on Destiny because he's been playing like a million hours of that forever.
2 and 3, he'll round out our fire team.
There you go. Yeah, we're just in it. Yeah. And then the Winter Gamer, Brendan, said mine is just getting a good amount of gaming in. I think we could all use more time to game.
Brendan Myers, yeah, I feel you on that one, bud. That's and that might be tough for him this year. So good luck.
That's right. Yeah, being a parent, oof. Unless you're 16, unless your kid is 16 and wants to game and ignore you, a
new kid, that's I feel that I can, from my experience anyway, that getting more time to game could be tough. Sufficient can happen, especially if you optimize your Switch time, and that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a balance between like how much sleep do I need and how much gaming do I want to play or want to get done. So good luck on that one. That is all I'll say.
You got this, winner. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's tactical game time. If they're sleeping, you're gaming, and then you're exhausted. That's all I will say.
We can sleep when we're dead. That's all.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Mark is like, it's like he gets like 3 hours of sleep a night because he podcasts at like midnight. So there you go.
It's fine. Sleep when I'm dead. Just like
right.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we are at the final countdown. Our predictions for 2022. I'm going to get the year right this time. So when people listen, they're like, what year is this? I don't know. Oh, well, we'll start with Sony. Mark.
So, Killzone's coming back. That's all I got to say. I don't even have anything like else to add. I don't know if it's still going to be the same developer or if Sony will give it to like another team and just kind of let them focus on Horizon or whatever. But like, what was the last game? Killzone Shadowfall 2013 PS4 launch game.
Yeah.
Well received, sold well. Why are they sitting on this franchise? It's coming back.
Mark,
I don't know if it'll
Matt.
Drop, but I think it'll be announced.
Matt, Sony expert, who develops it?
I don't know who they would give it to, honestly. I don't know if they wouldn't go for outside of first party. Everybody in the first party seems busy. Like they're all working on stuff. Like between the rumored games that we heard about, like the possible Uncharted and stuff. I don't know if they would take any unless they very stealthily built like a second or third team into like if they give because Guerrilla is supposedly working on some multiplayer shooter. There is a second team they're working on something. Is it Killzone? Possibly. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe they give the license out to somebody else and let somebody else develop it. But I don't know if anybody in the first party studios outside of a team we don't know about would take it on. Unless, like I said, it's another guerrilla team that they snuck in and we don't know about yet.
Not a Sobi.
Not Asobi. Asobi's doing too many cute things.
I know. That'd be cute. A super deformed Killzone. Like Little Big Planet, right?
There you go. Now we're talking.
Perfect. I'd love that. Super cute shooter. Matt.
Yeah. So I like to get pretty outlandish with my predictions, generally speaking. I'm more of like a pie in the sky. Let's go for it. So I'm going to say the new Blue Point game is unveiled. And I'm going to say that it is a sequel to Bloodborne. Now, whether it's going to be called Bloodborne 2, I don't think it will be. It might be Bloodborne : something other. But I do think they're working on Bloodborne. I do think they've been really cagey about what they're talking about. They're like, it's a new game, but they're not really addressing whether it's a new IP. They just keep talking about it's a new game. I don't see anything else. I mean, they have a bit of the framework from working on Demon's Souls. They know how the systems work. They have enough of that kind of base for them to take on a successor to what Bloodborne is. So I think we're going to find out that Blue Point is working on a successor to Bloodborne, and I think we'll get a trailer for it, but it's not going to come out this year. But we will see it. Is what I'm going to say.
When you said colon, I'm like, Bloodborne. Ouch, my colon is the sequel.
There you go. That's a name.
Rolls right off the tongue.
There we go. For me, I'm going to say Jak and Daxter gets a Ratchet and Clank style remake by Team Asobi. So cute. But I don't know if they do that. But it could be Blue Point too. But I think Jak and Daxter needs to come back because we have not seen them in years. I think the PS3 is the last time we saw them. So in their collection. So I would love to see them come back.
Ooh, I would love that. And Asobi is 100% the right team to handle that. And I would really love to. So do you think it's a remake of the first one? Like a soft reboot in style with Ratchet and Clank? Or do you think they're going to kind of do something new with it?
I think I could be, because the first game felt more like an action platformer versus the other games, which became like GTA, Jak and Daxter with weapons and got a little edgy. But I think that series needs to come back because I think Ratchet and Clank has been reinvented, and Ratchet and Clank Jak and Daxter is long forgotten.
Do you see Asobi possibly doing like a crossover game where they have like Astrobot as the kind of Nick Fury going around, and here's Jak and Daxter, here's Ratchet and Clank,
like a
and
what if, or bringing the crossing of the multiverse with Sony properties
with the platformer based around a platformer.
Have we just broke it? And then Sly Cooper comes in, and it's just
right there. You go.
Up. Oh there my goodness! I love it. I'm all in.
I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
It was the PCU. The PlayStation Cinematic Universe.
That sounds like something I don't want to get.
No, it would be bad.
Like,
then lastly, I just got to go back to this one every year. PlayStation Plus All Access. I'm changing the name, folks. It's the new service which combines PS Plus, now brings in PS Classics, movie and music and anime discounts. Why not? I'm just throwing everything in the kitchen sink.
Why not?
I think this is the year it's going to happen. I actually do think you're genuinely right about this. I do think it's time, and I hope they do something because Game Pass is just leaving them in the dust.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a time to bring more value to subscriptions. That's where we're headed. $70, or in Canada, I don't know, you gentlemen, how much you pay for your games.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Why not? And then bring out DLC for the games and make more money off of it. Yes.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. So we move to Nintendo. So, Mark, say your game, and then I've got a witty response.
Wave Race.
We're getting Excite Boat.
You know what? I'd take it. Excite Trucks was fine.
You like that?
I did. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I would still play the hell out of Excite Boats. I'm not going to lie, but like Wave Race needs to come back. Whether it's on like the N64 DLC thing, which I'm sure it will be, but I hope people play the hell out of it there, and Nintendo realizes like, oh right, we should do something with this since freaking Blue Storm on the GameCube. Like, let's go. So yeah, Wave Race coming back hot.
Wii Sports Resort had a
Shut up.
jet ski, right?
Chaos.
Oh, Todd.
I can laugh in many different ways, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Sorry, I'm gonna make Mark cry.
Wave Race.
Yes. Matt.
Yeah. I think that for their expansion pass, I think they're really going to need to show some value to keep people around for year 2. I know myself, and I know a number of other people who signed up for year 1 because of the promise of the Animal Crossing, Happy Home Paradise. And I think they're going to need to do something similar for year 2 to keep people engaged, because I don't know if they're going to really add too much value. Nintendo likes to really piecemeal out all their stuff. But I do think that they're going to say, hey, sign up for year 2 and you get Breath of the Wild 2 DLC. I think they're going, because I think Breath of the Wild will be coming out. The sequel will be coming out probably around October, November. And, a year out would have been November from the launch of the expansion pass. I could easily see them saying, okay, well, sign up for the expansion pass. You get Breath of the Wild 2 DLC. And I think that's how they're going to kind of make their proposition value to people to sign up again. And I think it'll work.
Yep.
I love that all DLC is in the expansion pass. It's a huge value. I floated all of my family pass members with the Animal Crossing content. I played none of it. So thank you to all of my family members for letting me pay for that, not enjoying it myself. And I got to play some win back.
It's okay. Wave Race is coming. Wave
Race is coming. Matt?
I knew it for Mark. I'm going to play like 85 hours of Wave Race just so Mark can get his sequel.
All right.
There you go.
Yes. Absolutely. You know what? Now that I've played Mario Kart, it's just
extensively for 15
everything minutes. Is extensively, yeah, for like 90 minutes maybe. I don't know. Mark, Nintendo, subscribe to Mark's Switch, please. I'm saying that because that's happened, Nintendo Kart is announced. Not Mario Kart 9. We're getting Nintendo Kart where they go all in, similar to Smash Brothers Ultimate, where all the Nintendo franchises come to a kart franchise and they just go whole hog and they have fun with it. Why not?
It makes too much sense. That's why not.
I cannot wait for Nintendo Kart to be just 87 Fire Emblem characters. That's going to be amazing.
I just want to see carts made of swords. Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
No,
somehow it's still all
swords.
sword fighters. Yeah. That's, yeah.
It's like you're surfing on swords.
There you go. They could make like a sword jet ski almost. So I have to ask then, top 3 guest characters. Who would you want in Nintendo Kart that aren't Nintendo characters?
Banjo.
Okay.
Man. Sonic.
Okay.
And Master Chief.
Nice. Solid 3. Todd, what about you? What's your 3 guest characters for Nintendo Kart?
Bloodborne Man. So he can scare the crap out of everybody. Is that his name, Bloodborne Man? I don't know.
Definitively,
look into that.
Officially.
Okay. Then we're going with Sweet Tooth.
Okay.
Cool. Makes total sense. And then we're going with Daxter because he's fun.
Okay.
Solid.
Is Jack the cart then? Do you ride Jack as Jack likes to sit on his shoulder? Is Jack just booking it?
Jack's just booking it. Yeah, he's just like, and then Daxter's just like riding him. What is
Carrot
it?
On a stick?
Wrapped, whatever you call it. Yeah. maybe a little electric prod, cattle prod.
There you go.
That's great. And that's
I love it.
For Sonic, for mine. I want him to run because in Sonic Team Racing, he drives a car. And why the hell would Sonic drive a car? So in this one, he has to just run alongside the carts.
Mark, he's probably just pedaling the cart, right? He's Sonic powered.
Flintstoning it.
Yeah,
exactly. He's just his feet underneath it.
I love it.
He's like pretending to be actually driving.
What characters?
And he gets a huge chili dog that knocks him over like Fred Flintstone. Yeah.
For me, I would want. I think Sonic's a great call. I'd want Mega Man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mega Man would be would be really cool. He'd be. I want Battle Network Mega Man because I feel like he'd be a badass with his gun and just. And Joker from Persona 5, just because why not? I want Persona 5 and everything. So
because the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. My son would say the same, because I think that soundtrack. Woo! It's a banger
Rips.
for all those people that love the term banger.
It's a banger.
Man, we just lost like 10 subscribers right there. Let's see. Then we get to Xbox. So at this point, we don't have an Xbox aficionado on the show, so we can just be crazy and wacky and just have a good time. So, Mark.
New Banjo game is announced. Xbox exclusive to start. They might do some dealings with Nintendo to get the old Banjo games on the N64 expansion pass, but the new one's starting off on Xbox.
It's a cooking simulator.
He's actually going to be in Breath of the Wild 2 helping Link out with all his meth. So
that's
there
right.
We go. That'll be perfect. Yeah. No, I think a new Banjo.
He's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Matt.
I think that by year's end, and this is again more so in the I really wish it happens more so than in the I think it'll happen. Game Pass is going to be on Switch. I think Game Pass is going to come to Switch. If it's the Switch Pro or Switch 2 or whatever you want to call it, everything will be cloud-based. It's all going to be, they have the technology. You can play Game Pass from your phone. You can play Game Pass on older Xboxes. They stream it all. Switch already has cloud-based games, and they seem to be getting along quite well with each other right now. I think they didn't want to do it at first just because, new consoles and everything. But I think with like a Switch 2, a Switch Pro, if that is real and that's coming, I think you're going to have Game Pass on Switch by the end of the year.
I'm going to delve deeper into this.
Okay, tell me.
I'm thinking how they could do this. You have to have Nintendo Switch Online first, like the first barrier. But it's not $15 a year. It's $5 on Switch to do a cloud streaming only option.
Okay.
Or if you already have Ultimate. I think it's one or the other. I don't think they're going to charge people that like, I don't have an Xbox, but I'm going to pay $15 to stream. So
I think you're on something. That's what I mean. I think that we might see some different pricing tiers. I think Ultimate might probably just get roped in, like you said. But if you're a Switch player and you want to get in, I think they might have like a reduced price cost because, I mean, PC Game Pass is cheaper than just normal Game Pass, right?
$10 for PC Game Pass, $10 for Game Pass. Ultimate includes all of them with Live for $15. It's very expensive to ask people just to stream for $15. So I think it's a hybrid model, maybe.
I think you're right. But yeah, Game Pass, Switch. What about you, Todd?
I'm saying Xbox purchases IO Interactive. I think this studio has so much promise after Hitman Interactive, Hitman 3, sorry. They're making a new franchise with dragons, apparently, which I don't understand. But still, it's never stopped Xbox from buying a studio when they have commitments. They're like, hey, do what you do, and we'll eventually get you to come back, and those games will be on our system anyways. But I think it's a genre they don't have, is that stealth genre. So it makes a lot of sense that they would come in, and Hitman is so I think it's refreshed itself. My surprise of the year was Hitman, the second level, where you were basically doing Knives Out. Loved it. So good. Anybody is afraid of that game, play the level 2 Knives Out. It's Clue, whatever you want to call it. It's so fun. So I think that's what they would do, is just buy them because it gives them a new genre to play in.
I think that makes so much sense, especially what happened with Square, especially because like they've been consistently killing it with Hitman, and even just how much backwards compatibility they built in within Hitman into its older stuff. They have the VR mode. There's so much going on there. I think, Todd, this is a smash of a purchase. I really hope you're right because I think it makes too much sense.
Mark, you got to play Hitman, man. At least a couple of levels. I think
those games have never clicked with me, but I want to try it just for that. Your description of that level, but the Hitman games in the past, I've never really clicked with, and I've tried several times to get into them. But stealth and that kind of tactical planning just doesn't usually sit with me. But I might just on your recommendation.
Yeah, it's you can just be stupid and still have a good time, and you don't have to be like, you don't have to be Silent Snake. You don't have to be like Sam Fisher. You can be just like Inspector Clouseau, bumbling idiot, having a good time, and investigating. And then I say that Xbox is announcing a Elite Series 3 controller with the enhanced haptic feedback to get their feet dangled into the extra features, because I've been seeing the Series 2 on steep discounts, and it's been 2 or 3 years. So it's time for a new Elite controller, because it doesn't even have the share button that the series controllers do. So it's time, and add in those extra features. It's already a premium controller. And then when you get the next Xbox Series controller, because you get wetted the whistle, the next series controller iteration has those features. So there you go.
Phil Spencer said that he was very interested in like exploring that kind of technology that's in the PlayStation, like the advanced haptic triggers and that kind of stuff. So that makes a ton of sense.
Agreed.
All right. Third party. This is our last category, gentlemen. Let's dig in. Mark.
Yeah. So bouncing off your earlier failed prediction of EA going all in on Star Wars, I think we're going to see Jedi Fallen Order 2 announced, probably not released, but I'd love a surprise, like we're ready for the fall kind of, announce it at some sort of like May the 4th kind of thing. Show it off more at E3 and release it by the fall as kind of a surprise this year kind of drop. I'd love that. Don't expect it to happen, but I do expect to hear some more about Cal and the crew in Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Do you think it's going to be called Fallen Order 2? Do you think it's going to be Jedi with a different like subtitle, or do you think they're just going to go with Fallen Order 2?
I would like them to come up with a different thing, but I think Fallen Order has a lot of name recognition now. So I could see them going Fallen Order 2, but I would like them to do, Jedi, Lost Sister or something like that, or come up with some other name of whatever kind of story they're going after. Because the order already fell, so now it's are they going to rebuild? Are they going to go off on whatever adventure? So a different naming convention makes sense, but from a marketing perspective, I'm wondering if Fallen Order as a brand will win. So that'll actually be a really, really interesting like bit to follow. Like who won, the creative team or the marketing team? Which one spoke louder? So nice. I'm waiting to see on that one.
Mark, I've got the title. Hold on.
Jedi Wave Race.
Jedi : Fallen Order : Colin. Your brother.
You're nailing this.
Binks Ascendant.
Oh, perfect. Yes, Jar Jar's redemption story / fall into darkness.
This is where we get it, Mark.
Darth Jar Jar.
We get it, Mark.
That's happening.
My predictions for Jar Jar stealing Boba Fett's armor fell flat. So now that we didn't get that, we're getting him in this.
We're still doing the Jar Jar predictions after this round of third party, right?
That's it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
We got Yoda Adventures on the Game Boy, Mark?
Game Boy Color.
Yes, there we go. So we're getting
worst game I ever bought.
We need a sequel, Mark. So that's what we're doing.
Yes, that is the sequel that everyone's been waiting for.
Okay, Matt, before you get started, quick question. My son wants to try Final Fantasy 14. I'm waiting. I asked Ryan, how can he play? He's like, gotta wait. Do you think he'll be able to play Final Fantasy 14 in 2022?
I think so, sooner rather than later. I actually asked Ryan the same question on the PlayStation Drive last week because I have it, and I'm just kind of waiting for the queues to come down before I jump back in. He seems to think it'll be within the month, and I trust him. He's the Final Fantasy 14 czar, so I believe in it. I believe in his word. And if not, well, I mean, that sucks.
My son has horrible timing, by the way. He always buys a game right before it goes like to Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever, and it's like I want to play Final Fantasy 14, Dad. I'm like, they aren't selling it.
Yeah, even the free trial's gone. So
Exactly.
sorry. I hope he can jump in soon because it is fantastic. But for my third party, I'm saying that Final Fantasy 16, widely known to be developed by the same team that's doing Final Fantasy 14. So and they kind of had a news story recently saying that, okay, sorry, we've been gone for a bit. We've been all hands on deck on Endwalker, but we'll give you more information in the spring. I genuinely believe this game is much further along than I think they're showing. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to get that spring thing, and they're going to say, you know what, coming out this fall, I'm going to say November. Final Fantasy, at least a lot of their main entries, their numbered entries, have launched in that October, November, December timeframe. And I think November for it, and I think they're going to do a demo for it over the summer. I wanted to say E3, but who knows if E3 is even going to be a thing anymore. So sometime during, Jeff Keighley's summer of whatever, I forgot the name for his thing already.
Summer of Fun.
Thank you. Summer of Fun.
No, it's was it
Summer's Mess.
Game Fest?
I can only think of Jeff Grubb's Game Mess. That's exactly what went to my mind first. But yeah, so I'm thinking Final Fantasy 16 will get re-unveiled. They're going to drop a demo this summer with the full game coming this November.
Sweet.
Crazy. It's been 6 years since we've had Final Fantasy 15. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's it's time, and I just feel like they're more ready than they've been showing off. I feel like I would hope that they've learned their lesson after Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then all they heard was, "Where's Final Fantasy VII Remake?" for years, and same thing happened in Final Fantasy 15. I hope they're waiting, and they're going to be like, it's out in the next 6 months, and I hope I'm right on this one because I really want to play that game.
Perfect. Awesome. I will wrap this up, gentlemen, with the last prediction, and it's in 2 parts. First part is Skylanders Ultimate Collection or Disney Infinity Unlocked is announced. We actually already have Disney Infinity is actually unlocked on PC currently, where you can play Disney Infinity without the characters and just play the game, and all of the characters are just unlocked. You don't need the pieces and things like that. I think it's time to bring back those games without all of the pieces and just allow people to have a good time, because I think there's a lot of nostalgia. The games are fun. It's very family friendly. They could do this with Lego as well if they wanted to, but I think this is long past the opportunity to bring back these awesome games and remove that, like even what was the Ubisoft flight game?
Starlink.
Starlink, yeah. Same thing there. Starlink actually had a only digital game versus as well. So I think it's time to bring that back, because I think a lot of people are nostalgic for it, especially people like Mark who have children, Sean Capri who has children, and to find that stuff, and hopefully it's backwards compatible. It's just silly. Bring these back.
Do I have to bring up my Apple Music most played list again? Because the frickin' Skylanders theme song was like number 2 on my list, or number 3 or something like that. So yeah, definitely time to bring that back.
Especially if, like you've mentioned before, with like Halo, if they use Disney Infinity as a new platform, every time there's a new movie that comes out, throw in a level, throw in a couple characters, and I mean, you don't have to have a whole licensed game for it. I think that makes a ton of sense, Todd. I think you're onto something here.
Definitely. Yeah, they actually have. There's even a collector's series of action figures now. I can't remember who's making it. Mark, you might have even seen it, where it's like these Disney characters where they look like they're like ready to fight in a cyberpunk environment. I forget what they're called.
Multiverse or Omniverse or something like that. Yeah, I saw those the other day.
Yeah, just use those as the models, bring them in the game. It's very much. But last question for you two. If another franchise got like a Toys to Life, but don't have to have Toys to Life, what should have been that franchise that became a Toy to Life game?
Digimon.
Ooh,
Digimon is it totally works in. I mean, it's a whole digital internet monster thing anyway. I think that those games are far better than the Pokemon games have been in a long time. The Cyber Sleuth games are genuinely fantastic, and I think that it would have been so easy to just buy one of the figures, and if you buy new figures, you unlock different Digivolution routes. There's a whole world that you can build it around. I think that Digimon really would have been a great version of a Toys to Life game.
I feel weird for going to Pokemon now after you just said a better option. So, yep, there we go.
Yeah, they did some weird ones back in the days with was it Pokemon Rumble? Was that the game series where you had
Yeah,
like blind bags or whatever?
yeah. There was kind of that iteration of it, but I think, I think Pokemon or I'm trying to think of some other franchises that have like a ton of characters to pick from, right? But I don't know. Um, I'm not sure exactly which, but I'd love to see even like, and I wanted to see this with Amiibo, just some sort of open like Nintendo Land game that you could pick. At one point, you could drop Mario in there, and at the other point, you could drop, you know, Marth or something, and just to tackle different points of platforming action or something like that in this open world or multiple world kind of thing that comes together with like this stage looks like it's from Zelda, and the universe is crashed together, so you have to get your team to make it through, and Marth can sword fight, and Mario can jump high, and this person can do this, and you unlock different characters with the amiibo. And I always waited for that amiibo game that never really happened, and they became kind of statues with like minor DLC rather than like this thing that I kind of wanted to happen. So
Give me Ultimate Alliance, but that. I think
Yeah,
that, like,
that's a good one.
go.
That's a good one. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark, I was going to say Nintendo RPG. What a Mario RPG? Give us Nintendo RPG. You drop in 3 characters. It's turn based. You've got all these disparate groups. You've got the enemies. You bring in the minions. I thought that was going to be the perfect way to bring in these characters. Turn based with characters, their special abilities. So fun. It's a no brainer. But they don't listen to Todd because I've been banned.
Yep.
Especially with an RPG, you can get away with reusing so many assets and making attacks look kind of similar and stuff. Like that would have been such an easy sell, but Nintendo, what Nintendo?
Exactly. Lastly, Mark's gonna love this one. We know that Fortnite Epic just bought one of the best music game developers of all time. Why? Because I think they should make Rock Band within Fortnite, and they get third-party creators to make the instruments so we can play Rock Band game. Why not? Have a good Rock Band party. I could play as like, I don't know, the Banana Dude and just rock out. I could play Black Widow, any of those characters, and you're just using the skins, but you're performing the instruments, the mics, you're singing. How awesome would that be?
If they really want to lean into the metaverse,
yeah.
I love the side of Fortnite. Thank you.
It's like whatever. Anyway, if they really want to lean into that, that's a way to do it. They've got Fortnite Creative that you can kind of go and do your stuff and play as any character, and they've got Battle Royale and whatever. But taking exactly what you said, those characters that your skins, who you want to be, and you get known for those kind of characters. You're always this person. There's a few skins that I see in Fortnite that I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one my friend Andrew like always wears every time. That's the one I associate with him, right? And you get that kind of thing in Rock Band or in a different kind of game. Like that's the way to start doing this. So that's a brilliant idea, Todd.
Also, like, what an easy way. They also have all those live concerts. Why not let you kind of play along with whatever artist is performing, right? What an easy way to say, okay, here's a track list. Everybody can play along with it. You're only going to hear your own mistakes, of course, but like, what an easy way to just kind of incorporate that in on top of, like, again, like you can possibly design your own concerts around these songs and stuff. Like you said, the creative mode is there for you to play with. I think that's brilliant. I think that's such a good call. And I mean, Harmonix could do it easily.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the competitive nature of Fortnite is for everybody. And if you want to make a space to play, because everybody's hearing about what cool stuff happens, it's like, I just want to shoot people. I just want to have a good time with all these goofy people that are these cool characters that I love. Let me do something fun in that space. And making music and doing karaoke, it's such a no-brainer. And sell those instruments because people like holding on to them and having microphones. My biggest problem with Rock Band always was, if I'm not the singer, I still want to play guitar and know the lyrics so I can sing along badly. Why did they always eliminate the lyrics for anybody that wasn't singing? I just want to see what the lyrics are because I don't know lyrics in songs. I always mess them up. Make me look cool, guys.
I love it.
Good.
It's a great idea.
That would be awesome. I would love to karaoke in Fortnite with you guys. I would be Banana Guy. Mark, who would you be?
Probably the shark dude. Is
Okay, Matt, who would you be in Fortnite and would karaoke with us?
I would 100% karaoke with Spider-Man. I have never felt the urge to come back to Fortnite as I have recently with just so I can get that Spider-Man thing. But then I heard you guys talking about it on the podcast on how he's like the last rank. And I'm like, you sons of bitches. I don't know if I can do it.
So sadly, that was true, but also not true because they did release a No Way Home package in Fortnite that you could just buy, just like Brock was asking for. You could just straight up buy No Way Home Spider-Man and Mary Jane. You can still unlock a different Spider-Man at the end of the season pass tier. But if you just wanted to go in and rock as Spider-Man, you could have done that. I think he may have rotated out of the shop, but I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, that was a thing. Right now, I think it's Boba Fett, unless he rotated out too. But yeah, that was a thing and I couldn't believe it after Brock was asking, oh, do I have to play all 100 tiers? And I was like, yeah, well, you do. But and then right after, I think as soon as it was published, it was just like, maybe not.
Nope,
you can buy it.
Yeah. Well, then maybe I'm gonna have to hop back in. The one thing for me for Fortnite is I just want a no build mode. I just let me run around and shoot everybody because I get decimated
again this year.
I hope it. Then I'm in. I'm so in because it's such a fun game.
Even a save the world mode could be fun. That's like the hallmark, right? It's basically that that tower defense, whatever you want to call it, was a lot of people loved that. My son, that's what he wanted to play for. So, but I will say this: throwback. PlayStation Home did it first. They're just too early.
Yep. That's my PlayStation prediction. That's coming back this year. You just wait for it.
Yeah, it's coming back in the metaverse. Yeah,
metaverse.
Perfect. Oh my goodness, this was a ton of fun, folks. I hope you enjoyed the ride. We are done with our predictions. 2022 will play out exactly as we called it. Don't even check their predictions for next year because we're 100% on it, and I will get greater than 0.032.1 points.
Nailed it.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Matt. Tell people how they can follow you on the interwebs.
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you so much for having me, guys. It was an absolute pleasure. I'd be glad to rock back with you guys anytime. This was a lot of fun. As for myself, you can find me over on Burnout Brighter, which is at youtube.com/burnoutbrighter, or any podcast network of your choosing, or on Twitter at burnout_Matt. We are currently gearing up to be releasing a mental health series that's going to be starting next Monday, where every week we are going to be talking to different doctors and different healthcare professionals about different topics in mental health. It was supposed to go out over the holidays, but just life happened and we're a little bit late to the game, but it's going to be starting next week. We're going to be doing a fundraiser alongside that. We have some pretty cool stuff that some industry friends have given us to give away. So get ready for that. We're raising money for Guardians Mental Health. They make amazing mental health kits that they send out free of charge to people who need them. So we're going to be starting that next week. But other than that, we have the regular show. And of course, you can find me over on Yumi Capri, rocking the PlayStation Drive with Ryan Turford every week.
Woo. Official legal counsel and secretary. I can't remember your posts within that.
I'm the secretary along with the legal counsel. I have a very important business card I made myself with crayons. Don't tell Sean; he's going to take it away from me.
Perfect.
Excellent. So before we jaunt off, Mark, tell people where they can find you in gaming and on the interwebs.
Well, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at @the_Canardian, and you can find me on Xbox and Switch at Canardian without the. That was the smoothest way I could have said that.
That was perfect.
You're a smooth criminal. There you go, Marky Mark. You can follow me at Toxtra on the interwebs. I will shout at the clouds as the old man of the interwebs. I also will call out things that I see as injustices in the world to make the world a little bit better place. If you want to game with me, Spartyon98 on Xbox and Switch, and Spartyon 1998 on PlayStation. So there we go. This has been a fantastic journey. I hope everyone had a good time along the way. And with that, I will say thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mark. And with that, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.